Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this video. So today, what I really want to go through is I want to share basically our origin story and also go through the exact breakdown of how we have hit seven figures in our business per year. So going from $0 from our kitchen bench to hitting our first 10K months, our first 100K months, and now hitting, between 3 and 400K per month consistently. Now, it wasn't always obviously a straightforward process or strategy. We learned a hell of a lot of things along the way. And that's what I want to actually share with you today. So hopefully you can get some value out of this video. So just before I begin, given the success and the experience of our business, we now help other ecom brands with their growth. So whether you're at 5K a month, 10K a month, 50K a month, we help you guys scale your businesses up. We obviously take what we've learned, the techniques, similar to what's in this video today, and we can help you grow to your desired level of revenue. So I hope you get some value out of this. And if you want to have a further chat, please feel free to book a time using the link below. So what I'll do is I'll just jump up the whiteboard here. This seems to have worked well in the past about being able to actually, follow along and visualize, what I'm talking about. But as I say, we're going to go through the exact breakdown of how our business was actually structured and still is to this day, right? So our exact model to seven figures. So when we began a few years ago, my brother and I, we were in, corporate jobs, getting kind of, 80 to 100K each per year. And we came across Tim Ferriss's The 4 Hour Work Week. Now, we both read this book and we were instantly inspired. It is a book around, if you haven't read it, it's about, lifestyle design, basically having a business that supports the lifestyle that you want to live. Now, what we basically did was we used this as our Bible, literally. We took everything from it to move into, this next era of our lives and starting our business journey. So we resigned from our jobs. We went on the hunt for something that we could actually adapt. So we left our jobs and we didn't have any idea what we were doing. All right. We didn't have a business idea at first. It was about a month into being essentially unemployed, but into our entrepreneurial journey, that Sam was doing his own juice cleanse, his own juice fast. All right. He had a domestic cold pressed juicer at home. He got veggies from the supermarket and he basically juiced it and drank it and did his own detoxing and cleansing programs. And it was kind of at that point that we were having a conversation over probably a juice or a coffee or something like that. And he said, man, the inputs, this is so hard to produce. I wish there was somebody who could just do it for me. And bang, in that moment, we were like, there probably are more people like you out there having the same thoughts. All right. And so literally with that afternoon, we went to the market, the local market. We went to the supermarket to get some bottles and we started juicing. We started using these cold pressed juices. It took us hours and hours, so much input, to do sort of 5 liters of juice. You put about 8 kilos of veggies through these domestic cold pressed juices. And it probably took us 5 hours to do. But in that moment, we started to reach out to people. Hey, I know this person who is into juicing and cleansing and fasting and sees the value in it, right? And so within 24 hours of having the idea, producing the juice, we actually sold that juice for real money. And that was real validation when, it's all well and good for people to say, yeah, that's a great idea. I would buy that. Let me know when you've got it. Versus, hey, this is real hard money for your product. Like, I'm now a customer. And then that's something that Tim Ferriss talks about is genuine validation. Okay. We exchanged money for our goods. And that was all we needed to say, all right, now we've got something here. We need to put our foot down and create a genuine business out of this. Let's jump into it. So that's exactly what we did. We started to go out to our networks, go out to the market, go out to anybody who would basically listen and start to educate them about cold pressed juice as a concept. It was just kind of coming onto the scene. And then even a little bit more underground was around cold pressed juice cleanse programs, drinking juice for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 7 days, and, not eating meals, right? There's benefits to that sort of program. And so we started to find that our customers were those that were educated already, had done their own kind of juice cleansing, juice fasting, something similar, and literally were fed up with doing it themselves. They had bought a cold pressed juicer, used it once, figured out how hard it was and how much inputs and, shoved it under their kitchen sink. That was our target market. And there are a lot of people out there in that position. So we immediately had a really good market. So from there, we basically used our networks, leveraged our networks, continued to get that proof. And people started to come from us, from friends and friends of friends and friends of family. And it started to build from there. And that became credit to us pushing our product out there iterating as we go and refining and enhancing the experience that a customer actually, experience. So we started to get, repeat customers. We started to get all those referrals coming through. And the real key here is that we just started. Okay, Tim Ferriss talks about in his book that if you wait for something to be perfect, you've waited too long. Okay, so we pushed it out. We didn't worry so much about the presentation. We had the program, printed out on A4 pieces of paper. We were delivering juices, in paper bags. It was that kind of underground and sketchy, but it got us going. It got us in the market. It got that validation. So that's how it all started. Okay, and then as we progressed, we started to latch on what was working, and we found that our networks were working. So we kept leveraging off those people, offering incentives, offering deals, offering bulk groups. We would contact people in gyms and yoga studios and football clubs where, you have one main contact and they get 10 people on board, and suddenly, bang, that was our quota for the week. Okay, so we got creative with our networks, but we didn't stop serving impressions to the market. We didn't stop talking to people in our market. Okay, so that was something that, worked really, really well. And then we sort of came across the concept of influencer marketing. We didn't really have any idea what it was, but it turned out that someone who had bought our juice suddenly posted about it, and then we got all these other followers and website traffic and customers from it. We thought, oh, okay, wow, we're onto something here. So then we became really active in that space and working towards, seeding our product to people who have influence, in our case, specifically on Instagram. And so it was a really pivotal moment when we hit our first 10K month, when an influencer posts for us, and we jumped from 9K a month and to 27K a month in that same month, right? We hit our first 10 and 20K month, almost 30K from this one person posting. Now, that was a very, very pivotal moment of saying, wow, that's like an 80-20 right there. That's what we have to focus our energy on. Okay. So from an organic standpoint, this is where we started. We didn't have two pennies to rub together to pay for advertising or marketing. So it was all organic at this point. The only thing we had working on the background was our SEO, and we really believed in building that up and also building up our database. So those were two real priorities that we focused on. But in terms of pure sort of marketing, it was all organic. It was all social media that we focused on. And that is still true today. That is what we see with the clients that we work with. This is the focus it needs to be on. If you don't have the funds for marketing or to pay agencies, and we don't recommend you do that until you've got a handle on things, then you need to do this groundwork. You're trading your time for money until you can do the reverse. All right. So that's how we progressed from there. Okay. We built it up. We looked at things that worked. We kept doing those things and really isolated those things. And how we actually scaled was, once we had a really solid foundation of organic traffic, organic sales, and repeat customers, only then did we look at the paid stuff. All right. Again, we still didn't have money to, hire agencies or spend a lot on ads. So we started dabbling ourselves. Now, this is probably, a lesson that we may not do again, but for us, we said, look, we can try it. We can validate it a little bit by getting a couple of ads up and going. And then once we see some results, then we can look to outsource this. All right, and put some real budget behind it. So that was exactly what we did with Google and Facebook. We literally figured it out. We went on YouTube, we looked at how you create a very simple ad, and we implemented that. Have a look at it for a month, let it run, and then you assess the results. Now, we were fortunate that, our results were pretty good. We're kind of getting 10x on Google and Facebook, and said, great, we need to take this a lot more seriously. Let's get someone in a position that can actually really boost it the way we want to. Let's put some more budget in and let's allocate that as our marketing spend. Now, bear in mind, we were doing about 30K a month at this point. So, when we go into our lessons a little bit later on, this is something that we probably could have pulled the trigger on earlier, but we had to really make sure that we were sure that those funds were there to test this out. Okay. So we started with validation. We started organically, and then we went and scaled with paid, right? So that was our progression, and hopefully you can kind of take something from that. So what we really missed, okay, from our entire journey, I feel, looking back, that we missed the guidance early on. It took us 18 months, I think, to hit our first 10K month. Okay, that was way too long from what it should have actually taken us. Of course, we were conservative. We were taking, the really, I guess, rational approach at the time. But looking back and knowing what we know now, we missed out on a lot of opportunities to go quicker and potentially more profitable without having the right guidance, right? So, I talk about this and you hear people talk about this who are high performers. They have somebody that they follow that has done what they want to do. They have coaches, they have mentors, they have consultants. And this is something that we missed early on and we didn't appreciate until later when we actually got these people on board. Okay. It gives you clarity, it gives you assurance, and it gives you a target to work towards and a time frame as well as accountability. So this is something that I really advocate now, and something that, as I say, I wish we had done, in the past. And really what it sort of comes down to is just your commitment to it and being able to, I guess, see the bigger picture for it. If you're paying X and you're going to get Y return from it, then that is a good investment that you should be looking at. And just to touch on this once more, it's essentially around, if you look at your excuses about why you wouldn't invest in something, and often your excuse to why you can't is the reason that you must. If you don't have the time for a mentor or guidance, that is exactly why you need it. If you don't have the money to get a mentor or guidance, that exact reason why you need it. Okay. So I just want to drum that home. Guidance is massive lesson that we learned. The second lesson is around the paid ads, as I mentioned. We should have jumped on that a lot quicker. So we still advocate for going very conservative early on. You don't want to put the cart before the horse in the sense of having strong foundations and validation before you go and then put gas on the flame with ads. But timing around that, we probably would have gone a lot quicker. And one massive win that we realized is the power of influencer marketing. I cannot harp on this enough, right? People in the market today don't understand, or the ones that do, they have, an absolute leg up. But the ones who don't appreciate how big this can be for them simply just need to look at our business. Okay. We've seen cases where influencers have had doubled and tripled our business multiple times. We use this strategy from day one to now, doing 300 and 400K a month. That's now what we do and what we genuinely, teach. It's the fastest and easiest way to do it. And the reason it works is because it is someone other than you as the brand talking about your product and recommending you. All right. That is power. That is 10 times more likely that someone is going to purchase from you if they hear it from somebody else, a trusted source, right? That's one thing. The second thing is that you're leveraging somebody else's audience. Okay. So like you would for ads in terms of buying impressions, buying eyeballs, that is exactly what you are doing with influencer marketing. Only the cost is a hell of a lot less and the upside is a hell of a lot more. Where we'd get 10x from our ads, we would get 100x from our influencer efforts. All right. So there's intricacies, there's strategy around that, but that is the number one thing that's really helped us. And again, if we knew that, we would have double timed on that. We were doing it pretty casually. We were getting some really good hits, a few misses here and there, to be fair, but more wins than losses. And if we realized that, we would have literally knuckled down and done almost nothing else. All right. So that's some real guidance. Some advice rather for you if you're looking to build yours. That is what we had missed. And so that's basically all I wanted to talk about. Our origin story, what worked well, how we obviously scaled up and what we missed. And so I hope that kind of helps and provides some clarity for you into what you need to do to have firstly validation, to then build your business up organically to the point where you can then look to scale. All right. And it really has to be done in that order. Do what needs to be done to validate your product. Do what needs to be done in an organic sense where you're trading your time for money. And then you can scale up by trading your money for time with the actual scaling efforts and build up from there. So again, if you're struggling with your business, if you need help, feel free to book a time below with me to chat. We'd love to help you out and see if we can. But other than that, hope you enjoyed that and got some value. And I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks.